model right here, right next to the thoracic aorta. This is the esophagus. And it's going down through the diaphragm. This is representing the diaphragm right here. And this organ is the liver, and I'm going to use a different liver to illustrate the structures of the liver in just a second, so I'll take this one out for right now. The stomach was already out of that model, so let me put it back in so you can see everything in its proper orientation. Okay, so there's the liver. We take the liver out, then we see the stomach right behind it. And the stomach has the esophagus coming into it. So you can see kind of how the esophagus coming down into the stomach through the diaphragm there. So we take the stomach out.
It's called the hilum.
Pardon me?
Hiatus. The hiatus.
Yeah, this is called the esophageal hiatus, where the esophagus goes through the diaphragm. That hole there is the esophageal hiatus. So the parts of the stomach, we have the cardia region of the stomach, which is right near the cardiac sphincter, which is the flapped inside of the esophagus as it meets the stomach. This model doesn't really show the cardiac sphincter all that terribly well, but there is a little flap of tissue. It's not truly a sphincter because it's not really a ring of muscle, it's more of a flap of tissue. Then this is the fundus of the stomach. This is the greater curvature of the stomach. So it's going around the left side of the body there where the stomach will be located. The lesser curvature of the stomach, remember the lesser omentum comes off the lesser curvature and the greater omentum comes off the greater curvature of the stomach. This of course would be the anterior side, that would be the posterior side. This funnel-like region is the pylorus of the stomach, and the central part is called the body of the stomach. If we open the stomach up, what do we call the wrinkles inside of there? The rugae. I love the rugae. And then there's the pyloric sphincter. So that little constricted region that you see right there at the end of the pylorus, that's the pyloric sphincter. And this stomach also shows the 3 layers of smooth muscle. So we have the oblique layer, we have the circular layer, we have the longitudinal layer. But I'm not going to ask you to identify those layers on the model. It does show that the stomach has the 3 layers. Okay. Oh, I forgot the teeth before I got into the esophagus. So this is a model of the jaw. There is not a model that you can click on and that gives you the answer key for this on my website. Okay? But you can download the thumbnail picture out if you want and put your labels on it yourself if you want. So what would these first 2 teeth be? Incisors. And what would this one be? Canine. How about these 2? Premolars. And then these 3 would be the molars. How about this gland right here? What would that be? Parotid gland is found out here. See here?
Mandibular.
Right here's the parotid gland on this model. It's right in front of and a little below the ear. That's on the outside of the head. So this one here would be the submandibular, and this one in front of it would be the sublingual. Right. So that's about all you need to know from that model. We already looked at the tooth a little bit earlier. That's another thing that you can't expand on the website. But you can, I think, is there a picture of it on the website? There is not. But anyway, it's fairly simple. I went over it. If you want me to go over it again, if someone grabs the tooth there, I'll go over it with you. All right, so anyway, proceeding on from the stomach, this organ behind the stomach, where I took the stomach out, what do you suppose that is?
Pancreas.
Yeah, there's the pancreas, just like we saw in the cat.
Do we need to know the 3 regions of the pancreas, the tail, the head, the body?
You do, and I'll be talking about that on Monday, because that's the continuation of today's lecture. We'll go into the accessory organs, the liver, the pancreas, the gallbladder, stuff like that. Okay, and I'll take this out for right now so we can see the other parts. Okay, so this is the pancreas, and this is the first part of the small intestine, the duodenum. You can see how the head of the pancreas is kind of nestled in the kind of the curve of the duodenum right there. So the duodenum, as I said, it goes up and makes a sharp curve. Once it makes that sharp curve, then it becomes the jejunum, and that goes on for a couple of feet. Excuse me, and then it becomes the ileum, the last part of the small intestine. Eventually, the ileum joins up with the large intestine. So here's the ileum, and it's joining with the large intestine. We call the junction of the ileum and the cecum, which is what this pouch of the large intestine is called the ileocecal junction. And this little valve that's right there that regulates the passage of the material from the ileum into the cecum is called the ileocecal valve. The cecum has a little finger-like appendage sticking off of it, this little green thing, and that's the appendix. You didn't see that on the cat cecum because cats don't have an appendix, but we have an appendix, at least not a visible appendix. They might have a tiny little appendix that we can't see. But anyway, that's our appendix right there. That's part of the lymphatic system. So going up, the right-hand side of the body, the posterior wall, that's the ascending colon. And then when it gets up behind the liver would be like this. Okay? So there's a 90-degree curve there, and that is either called the right colic flexure, or sometimes it's called the hepatic flexure because it's right behind the liver. Hepatic means liver. Then we have the transverse colon going straight across the body in a transverse plane, so that's why we call it transverse colon. And it makes a 90-degree curve, and the 90-degree curve it makes is right next to the spleen. The spleen is right here. So it's either called the left colic flexure, or you can call it the splenic flexure because it's right next to the spleen. This model has the spleen on the edge of the lung, so you don't see the spleen in there right now. So then that becomes the descending colon. Now it's going down the left-hand side of the body wall, the abdominal wall, and when it gets down into the pelvic region, it makes an S-shaped curve. See the S-shaped curve? That's called the sigmoid colon because it's shaped like the Greek letter sigma. And so that's why they call it a sigmoid colon. The Greek letter sigma is an S, basically. Then we have the straight part, which is called the rectum. And then finally, the very last part is called the anus. So there's a 1-inch anal canal that leads to the anus. The thin, filmy material, that's the mesentery that holds the intestines together. Okay? So let's take a look at some of these other larger models of some of these small ones that are